Panther Nation, what's good? The roster build is here, finally. I've been teasing it for a while. Now that the trade deadline is over with, let's see what we can do moving forward. Let's get into it.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
He's intercepted by Keekly. Keekly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panther.
All right, Panther Nation. As you can see, no trades have been made. It looks like we're kicking the can to the offseason and going to build moving forward. And I get it. I'm okay with that plan. There's no need to mortgage our future long-term, giving up picks for some short-term gain, or especially getting a pick that we'll need into having to pay the year afterwards. There's a lot of nuance in some of these trades. It's not just cut and dry. So I get us not going out and getting somebody. It makes sense to me. Let's just stand pat. We're not in a situation where we're in our window, our Super Bowl window. So let's just wait. Let's fix some of these issues in the draft. But that being said, now we have to take a look at the roster. Let's take a look at where everything stands and how we're going to proceed moving forward. We're 8 weeks into the season. We have enough information to kind of identify who is overplaying their contract, who's underpaid, all the things that go into building a roster. We're going in and we're going to identify some people that can be cut, who need to be extended, and we're going to take a look at how I look at that and how maybe a GM. I don't know how the GMs do it. I'm not a GM, but given the tool sets that we have, I'm going to take a look at what we can do moving forward. So there's going to be a lot of tools we're going to use to get this done. We're going to use Spot Track. We're going to use Over the Cap. We're going to use PFF. All those tools are going to be at our disposal as we get through this roster build session. Again, it's going to be a multi-part session, but this one was going to be a brief introduction on where we are and how we're going to analyze this moving forward. We got to kind of level set our knowledge base and get on the same page. And again, so if you have any questions, make sure you get in the comment section and post your question and let me see if I can help clarify anything. But that being said, let's jump to the screen and we'll check it out. All right, Panther Nation. So here we are. If you are a long-time Panther Nation podcast listener, you know how I do with the spreadsheets. And so this is just another spreadsheet that we're going to take a look at. In this episode, all we're going to do is walk through the spreadsheet so you understand kind of the basis of our conversations moving forward. If you don't understand this, you won't understand anything in the current or the sessions after this. So let's get our base knowledge down first. Then in the sessions after this, we can get into some more detail. All right. So we're gonna walk through the spreadsheet. As you can see, obviously we know who the player is in this column. And this column is just a position. Obviously, this column is just the age. Obviously, nothing too groundbreaking so far. One interesting note is that the average age of the team right now is 25 and some change. So it's really, really young team, which is okay. That means we should be as our team gets older, we should get better. Hopefully that's the case. We'll see what happens in the future. But right now we're a super young team, and hopefully we have a bright future ahead of us. So in this section is when the contract expires. So Matt Paradis, his contract expires in 2022. So it is color coded. Again, if you're a long time listener, you've seen this before. But again, anybody with the contract expiring in 2021, that means you're in red. That means we got to take some action. You're on a contract year. We need to get it done if we're going to extend you. Okay. 2022 is yellow. That means we got some time. It's caution. You need to start planning ahead a little bit. And then 2023 and above, that means we have plenty of time, most likely a recent draft pick there. So that's really what that means. It's really easy, just kind of color-coded way to kind of see when we have some contracts coming up. All right, so in this column, we have the status of the free agency. Okay, so there's different types of free agency. There's unrestricted free agent, there is restricted free agent, and then there's exclusive rights free agent. And so all of that is dependent on the amount of accrued seasons you have. And to have an accrued season, you must be active for at least 6 games in a season. That's the only way you can get an accrued season, and that's the most important part when it comes to your free agent status. Okay, so we'll walk through them. So unrestricted free agent just means it's a player that has 4 or more accrued seasons and an expired contract. So that means, for instance, we pick up a draft pick and they on the team for 4 years. They were on the roster for 4 years, and their contract is about to expire. At that point, they are free to negotiate with any other team in the league, no issue. Okay, similar to how Josh Norman was at the end of his contract. His contract expired. We tagged him, then released the tag, and then he was able to negotiate with whoever he wanted to. So that's really how that works. Any rookie with the contract expiring is free, that has the accrued season, is free to negotiate with any other team they want. All right, next up, we got restricted free agent, and a restricted free agent is someone with 3 accrued seasons and an expired contract. So you can have 3 accrued seasons. Doesn't have to be one team. It can be 3 accrued seasons with multiple teams, but you have to have those 3 accrued seasons. Once you have those 3 accrued seasons and an expiring contract, restricted free agents are free to negotiate and sign with any other team, but the original team can offer them one of various qualifying offers or /tenders that come with the right of first refusal and or draft pick compensation. So a lot of words there. It's not that confusing. So what happens is, if we have someone that's a restricted free agent, and they are allowed to negotiate with another team, but if that team, another team, decides to offer them a contract, we have the opportunity to match that contract. Okay, that's one scenario. The other scenario is where we can put a first or second round tender on that player, and then in a situation where a team wants to sign that player, they have to provide us a first or second round draft pick depending on that tender. So the restricted free agent, there's a lot of power on that restricted free agent situation. So it's very important that, that's why it's green. Green is good. Unrestricted free agent means it's bad. We need to, not necessarily bad, it just means that we lost kind of leverage on that player at this point. If we don't make an offer or extend that player, we lost leverage. That's pretty much what that means. An exclusive rights free agent, that's a player with fewer than 3 accrued seasons and an expired contract. These are most likely your undrafted free agent guys that you pick up and they play well. You put an exclusive, give them exclusive rights contract. They agree to it because they're undrafted free agent. They want some kind of security. That's how that works. And then in this case, they can only negotiate with another team if we don't offer them another contract. The Panthers have the opportunity. If we offer them a contract, they pretty much have to accept that contract. A perfect example of that was Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen was an exclusive rights free agent. We had to allow him to be able to go out and go sign with another team. That's why we were able to trade him, okay, because he had an exclusive rights contract. And we, again, traded that contract to the Redskins. Okay, so that's how exclusive rights free agency works. There's a lot of power within that. That's why if you hit on an undrafted free agent, it's really crucial because you have that exclusive rights free agent there, tag there. So not tag, but it's exclusive rights free agent that was negotiated in the contract. All right. So I hope that's very laid out. I hope that I explained that as easy as possible. If you have any questions, please get in the comment section and I'll try to clear it up. But hopefully I cleared it up as easy as possible. Okay, explain that to the best of my ability. All right, so that's just the free agent status. Okay, next up in this column we have the current annual salary per year. That's pretty much what a player is getting paid on a per year basis with their contract. So you can see, Matt Paradis, he's getting paid $9 million per year based on his contract amount. Okay, so what this means is that based on his this value over annual salary per year which means all it means is that this player is playing over right now within the first 8 weeks of the season. He's playing over his salary amount. So his overall value should be $10 million instead of $9 million. So that's essentially what that means. So all you're doing is taking these two columns, this column, and it equals this column. That's essentially what that means. Same with Sam Tecklenburg. Sam Tecklenburg, his current average salary per year is $695,000, and he's actually worth a lot less than that. Essentially, that's what the negative value is. His real value should be $32,000. That's essentially how this works. And what this is actually derived from over the cap. Over the cap has a value metric that they have put together. And what this is it's attempting to take their contract values and match it to their on-field performance. This is the only tool out there on the market that I know of that does this. It's a premium feature. However, you can see in the free version of Over the Cap, you can see the weekly, the bi-weekly, or the per week values. But what I have here is the actual cumulative 8 weeks of the information. So over the 8 weeks, this is all the stats they put together. And again, this is very, very analytical. It's put together using Pro Football Focus metrics, stats, snap percentage. It's very, very complicated, and it's an attempt to say, hey, within your position group, how are you playing versus the players in your position group, and how are they being paid? And it's not restricted to rookies. What it is, it's a level playing field. Rookies, veterans, all on the same playing field, and it attempts to put a value to how a player is playing. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in the description box, and I will explain it much, much better. And I'll put some notes in the description box as well, so you guys can read and kind of put it together. Again, this is not for your average fan here. This is some real analytical things. We're trying to make sense of what's going on. We're not just throwing things out there. We're trying to put numbers and figures together to come up with real suggestions. Okay. So, all right, people. So that's gonna do it for today's first episode of the Roster Build series. Okay. So again, I had to set the table. We have to set the table for all the different nuances in that spreadsheet, because once we start filtering out things and start calling people out, you'll see. I need you guys to understand the baseline first. So we have to just set a baseline of knowledge before we can proceed with the next part of the video, because it's going to get real confusing on why I'm starting to filter out certain things and why I'm disregarding certain things. And again, there has to be a human element in this as well. You have to have a human element. You can't just look at the numbers and say, okay, boom, he's worth $15 million and that's it. There has to be a human element to what you're watching, and I need you guys to understand that before we dig into this. So, and also on the valuation portion, or that current valuation, that is not necessarily what a player would make in free agency. Okay, that's not what a player would make in free agency. That's just a baseline, because once they hit the open market, it's a completely different story. They could get so much more money on the open market. That's just a baseline of where we start. Okay, that's a starting point. So I just want to be clear on that. So if there's any questions, any comments, please go to the comment section, and we will talk about it in the comments. I need you guys to have that base knowledge first before we decide to move on to part 2. And in part 2, we're going to take a look at the free agents.